We had seen these videos of Justin Bieber being handed over to him at age 15. Great job. Great job. And for his weekend with Diddy camp. I mean, we don't know, but it certainly looks like Justin Bieber is still suffering the fallout from whatever happened to him as he was coming up the ranks of the music world. It really doesn't seem worth it. I mean, I'd love to hear more from his camp about what's real, because it's clear he's suffering. We just don't know from what. And what mother out there would give her 15-year-old boy over to a grown man who's in the rap industry for a weekend with Diddy camp without other adult supervision?
You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose.
We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Justin Bieber was very young when he came into Diddy's circle. And that tape you referenced of the two of them about to spend 48 hours together or having just was disturbing. And there's no question he had a lot of exposure to this guy. And I think he should say something.
The studio lights glared as Megyn Kelly sat across from her guest, but this time her voice was softer, almost trembling. She had just replayed old footage of a teenage Justin Bieber sitting beside Diddy, his face a mix of nervous laughter and uncertainty. For a woman known for her composure and sharp wit, what came next was rare. Megyn Kelly's eyes filled with tears. She paused, lowered her head for a moment, and admitted to her audience that what she had just watched was almost too painful to process.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious it is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we've become friends in a strange way, you know.
Like Robin Big.
Yeah. It's like exactly.
I'm big and you're Robin.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there were so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I own.
That stuff's not going to matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick and there was all these things and I was like, I can't, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like.
Megyn Kelly has built her career on asking the questions others avoid. She has confronted politicians, media giants, and celebrities with precision. But when she turned her attention to Diddy and the resurfaced clips of a 15-year-old Bieber, she wasn't just delivering commentary, she was bearing emotion. This isn't just another celebrity headline, she said, wiping at her eyes. This is a child who should have been protected, but instead he was placed in the hands of one of the most powerful men in the music business. And the world looked away. The footage was infamous. Diddy, smirking at the camera, bragged about having custody of Bieber for 48 hours. He promised they would go crazy, as if this was an adventure to celebrate. At the time, people laughed it off. Media outlets treated it like eccentric behavior from an industry mogul, but in the years since, with lawsuits and testimonies exposing the darker realities of Diddy's empire, that clip doesn't look funny anymore. It looks like evidence.
If so, bump somebody. All right, thanks. I love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV. I'm savage. I'm a savage. Oh, I'm a savage. Whatever I want, I'm going to get. Whatever I want, I have to get.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully, but yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
Anyways, I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
Wow. I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful face. All right, now it's time.
Megyn Kelly pressed play on another clip, the interview where Diddy asked Bieber why he hadn't been answering his calls. The teenager, shifting nervously, tried to explain that he didn't even have Diddy's number. His awkward chuckle only highlighted his discomfort. Diddy leaned in, insisting they needed to spend more time together. Kelly shook her head in disbelief as she watched. "That isn't mentorship," she said. "That's pressure." That's an adult imposing himself on a child who had no way to say no. Her tears fell hardest when she recalled Bieber's 2020 interview with Zane Lowe. In it, Bieber broke down while talking about Billie Eilish, saying he wanted to protect her from what he went through. He never said Diddy's name, but his sobs told the story without words. "Those tears were real," Megyn said, voice cracking. "They came from a place of deep pain. And we now know who was at the center of that pain." Kelly explained how Bieber's rise was meteoric. One moment he was a Canadian kid uploading songs on YouTube, and the next he was signed by Usher, managed by Scooter Braun, and thrust onto the global stage. Fame hit him before he even had a chance to grow up. But instead of being surrounded by protectors, he was pulled into Diddy's orbit. "That's where the system failed him," Kelly said. "Instead of safe mentors, he got a man with a dangerous reputation." She replayed footage of Bieber at one of Diddy's parties. He looked glassy-eyed, slumped on a couch, surrounded by older celebrities. Megyn refused to show the full clip, out of respect, but described what she saw. "This was not a teenager having fun," she said. This was a teenager overwhelmed, clearly not in control of himself. She connected this to lawsuits that alleged guests at Diddy's parties were often exposed to substances without their knowledge. Bieber wasn't partying, he was surviving. Megyn then turned her focus to the industry itself. She accused managers, agents, and executives of failing Bieber by staying silent. "They all saw it," she said, tears welling again. They saw the red flags, they saw his discomfort, they saw him being pulled into environments no child should be in. But they chose silence. They chose money and access over a boy's safety. The media too came under fire. Kelly showed clips of interviewers chuckling when Bieber looked uncomfortable being asked about Diddy. His nervous laughs were treated as jokes instead of warning signs. "That wasn't funny," she said firmly. "That was a cry for help." and the press ignored it because they wanted to stay in Diddy's good graces. Kelly explained that this pattern wasn't new. Years earlier, Diddy had bragged about having guardianship over Usher when Usher was just starting out. At the time, it was played off as harmless. But in hindsight, with everything we know now, it raises troubling questions. This is a man who consistently put himself close to young rising stars, Kelly said. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. Her commentary grew sharper as she talked about the lawsuits now surrounding Diddy. Testimonies describe an empire built not on mentorship, but on control and intimidation. They paint a picture of a man who used wealth, luxury, and influence not just to build success, but to manipulate. This is not gossip. These are consistent accounts, and when you line them up with the footage of Bieber, it's undeniable. Megyn Kelly's tears came again as she addressed Bieber directly. Justin never asked for this life, she said. He was a kid with a dream, and he was thrown into a machine that should have protected him. Instead, it handed him over to Diddy, and the scars of that are still visible today. She warned that Bieber's story isn't unique. He's just the one who became too famous to ignore, she said. For every Bieber, there are countless others who didn't make headlines. Kids who were silenced, who were erased, who never got the chance to tell their stories. Her voice cracked again as she admitted that this truth was what broke her the most. Kelly then looked at what the verdicts and investigations mean now. Diddy may still have lawyers, he may still have money, but the walls are closing in, she said. Allies are distancing themselves, businesses are cutting ties, and the public is no longer buying the spin. Not guilty doesn't mean innocent, she said sharply. It means powerful. And we need to stop confusing the two. Her tears didn't weaken her commentary. They fueled it. She accused Hollywood of protecting Diddy for decades, of turning red flags into punchlines, of mocking what should have been treated as cries for help. The industry enabled him, she said. They gave him cover. They let him thrive. And they should be ashamed. As the segment reached its peak, Kelly raised her voice, declaring that this moment must be a turning point. We cannot let this happen again, she said. If the industry doesn't change, another child will be sacrificed in the name of fame and fortune. And that should terrify every parent. She called on Bieber's story to serve as a warning. When you see a child being pushed into the spotlight, don't assume they're safe just because they're surrounded by celebrities, she said. Ask who is really protecting them. Ask what's really happening behind the cameras. Her final words were devastating but clear. Diddy may try to rewrite his legacy, but history won't forget. The footage is there. The testimonies are there. The truth is there. And no amount of money can erase it. Megyn Kelly wiped her tears, steadied herself, and closed with a promise. For years, Diddy's empire thrived on silence, but silence is broken now, and once the truth comes out, it doesn't stop. After finishing her segment, Megyn Kelly admitted that even she felt haunted by the footage. She told her audience that she had rewatched those old interviews multiple times before going live, hoping that maybe she was overreacting or reading too much into Bieber's nervousness. But each time, she said, the same conclusion hit harder. Those weren't harmless laughs, they were survival tactics. That child was signaling discomfort, she said, and the fact that adults laughed along instead of stepping in shows just how broken the system was. Kelly reminded viewers that silence is what allowed Diddy to thrive for so long, and she promised that this silence will no longer protect him.